morning. Welcome to all my young friends who are completing board exams and trying to get into the summer break, a summer plan in this 2025. Many of you would have already written competitive exams, other competitive exams like JEE 2025, and some of you are preparing for other exams also. JEE Phase 2 is also coming up. So today I've brought to you a very interesting webinar on how to crack IPMAT 2025 in 45 days. And I hope through this webinar, you get to know what are the new options, what are the other options that you can have for great careers and not just JEE, and how you can crack it in 45 days, 1.5 months. That's the essence of this webinar. So without much ado, let's dive into today's session. And I'm Naresh Duburu. This is presented by me. So a brief intro about me. I have myself been an engineer. So like many of you trying to do JEE, I've done that. I've been to NIT Warangal. I'm a gold medalist there. I've actually received Distinguished Alumnus Award from NIT Warangal. And I've also been to IIM Bangalore through CAT though. After my graduation, for my PG, for my MBA, I went to IIM Bangalore to Stanford as an exchange student. And then I worked with McKinsey and finally I founded Abhyas Edu Technologies back in 2010. I think I have close to 19 years of experience now in various sectors. But today's session is all about, I love talking to young minds. I love talking to young people and help their careers go take shape. That is my dream. That is my vision. That is my mission. So today's session is also towards that in order to achieve that. So let me kind of tell you why IPMAT and why now. I think when I was studying +2, if someone had asked me, do you know what is IIM? I would say I did not know, because the only thing I would know when I've studied 11th and 12th was IIT. IIT was a bigger name. We want to get into IITs, NITs, JEE was a big thing, right? But today, you have an option to get into Indian Institute of Management straight after 12. You need not wait for, you really need not wait for, to complete your graduation, then write an exam called CAT. And that is a beautiful opportunity you have right in front of you. The opportunity is why a lot of people who go to MBA do other fields like engineering. Most of them do engineering, but there are people who do law, who do medicine, who do other streams, and then they straight come to MBA again because they feel MBA will help them get better pay packages. That's the first reason many of them give. But I think a bigger reason is these people who do MBA get access to leadership roles within companies. These are the ones who get into CXO roles. These are the ones who make strategies. These are the ones who make decisions towards running the company. And that's why MBA is a coveted program even today across the world. And the beautiful thing is MBA is Teflon coated when it comes to even the AI impact. Impact of AI can be there in many different fields, but AI cannot replace humans when it comes to making strategies, making business decisions, handling people, etc. So generalist degrees will be in demand in future as compared to technical degrees alone. Right. So I think MBA that way makes a lot more sense for those of you who want to kind of get into business, do business, or become an entrepreneur, right? Or do sales, do finance. I think any one of you have that kind of craving, that kind of interest. I think MBA is the right thing for you. And to do MBA, we have two options, right? The regular option that we had from decades back, someone like me, 2 decades back, we had to go through the grind. We have already done our engineering. Then we had to do this exam called CAT, written by lakhs of people, right? There are 20 plus IIMs right now in the country. But again, it's very much exactly like JEE. JEE at 12th level, and then you have a JEE level rigmarole at when you're probably in 20s. I think that's what you very much like UPSC or CAT, etc. I think one beautiful option you all have is you can get into, what if I say you can get into IIMs right after 12th. That is an option that's available from the last 1 decade. IIM Indore, out of all the IIMs, so the first one that has started undergraduate program, they call it IPM, Integrated Program in Management, where you do a 3-year undergraduation in generalist courses, and then you kind of have MBA done, and by the end of 5 years you complete your graduation, you complete your MBA, come out and go and sit in placements in IIM. That's the beauty of this program. IIM Indore is the first one to start, and there are a lot of new IIMs have started. Today there are 5 IIMs which are offering this course, and trust me, as I'm talking to you, I think every year I see more and more IIMs are getting added to this. Out of all these 5 IIMs, the best ranked IIM is IIM Indore at this point of time. While IIM Indore is among the black key IIMs or the original, the top 6 IIMs, I think that there are IIMs ranked above Indore, Ahmedabad, Bangalore, Calcutta, right, Lucknow, which will probably start these programs. My alma mater, IIM Bangalore, which is a second most top ranked B school in the country, they also want to start a program, but it'll come in the days to come. So right now they have an online degree also. So I think IPMAT's thing has come. People want to do undergraduation, not from technical institutions, but institutions like IIM. That is here, you can do it. That's the beauty of this program, right? And the big thing, I would say, the big advantage is if you can crack IPMAT today, you can avoid CAT later. It might feel like like why am I saying this? But do understand, cracking IPMAT. IPMAT is an exam currently taken by around 30,000 people across the country at your age. And the level of the exam is easier. And if you're really someone who's been a serious JEE aspirant who could not make it because of competition, etc., I think this can be cracked. And if you crack this in these 30,000, you are saving yourself a trouble of competing with 10x people, 3 lakhs people who are already working. A lot of this, once you get into CAT, they ask for work experience. A lot of other things come into play. You have to cracking interview is not a joke. So here what happens, you can do your exam. Yes, there's an interview in here, but the standards and the level of efficiency, the levels expected are less. That's a huge thing. And finally, remember, the biggest thing about the future of university education is all about, we're talking about skills over degree. On one side, we're talking about skills over degree. Don't go to any institution that can offer you only a degree. If it's only a degree, put it aside, focus more on skills. Universities have to offer something beyond your degrees. And universities like IIMs, why we talk about Ivy League even today, Harvard, Stanford's, IIMs, IITs even today, because it's not about the degree they give, but the kind of network, the kind of access, the kind of people connections you can get. So that is why IIMs, IPMAT matters a lot. And I hope you take this as a great opportunity. For those of you who you believe you were probably in the top percentile, top 5, 10 percentile, you had a 90 percentile, 95 percentile in JEE, but you could not crack the thing because the number of seats were less. It was very high competitive. I think this is for you. Don't assume you have to do it because it's easy. No, it's not easy. It's as difficult as JEE, but the thing is the competition today is lesser. Understand that, right? Now let's understand this exam a little better. What exactly does the exam have? Fine, we understand that it's only 30,000 people writing the exam today, but what is the exam all about? And the interesting thing is, unlike your IIT JEE is an exam that's conducted for 20 plus IITs, 30 plus NITs, all of them take one exam, isn't it? But the beauty, I would say beauty, as a teacher, I would say, as someone who is in coaching is always happy when we have more and more exams, isn't it? Competitive exams, because then we can launch more courses, more students will come. But as a teacher, I always believe it's a strain on kids, it's a strain on students when we have multiple exams for the same program. IPMAT is currently going through that grind because students who are trying to get into IPM programs, integrated programs in management across IIMs, there are 5 IIMs offering this program, but they have to undergo 3 different exams. IIM Indore is the first one and the big one. They have an exam called IPMAT Indore, and we have the second exam called IPMAT Rohtak, and the couple of other IIMs also have their own exam called IPMAT, all of them in the same format. The 2 main IPMAT exams that you should be knowing is called IPMAT Indore exam, IPMAT Rohtak exam. That's what we are going to focus on in this webinar. The focus of this webinar is these two exams. These are the 2 exams that I'm going to focus on. And please understand, if you can crack into these 2, I think you can save energy from again getting into CAT. But again, I'm saying the idea is not to say that you'll have to be satisfied with whatever IIM you have done your IPM program in. The beautiful thing about IPM programs is you can take an exit after 3 years and try and get into an IIM's better rank than your current IIM through CAT. That's also an option available, right? You need not do that. People who go to Indore usually don't do that, but people who get into lower ranked IIMs might try that. That's an option you have. Anyway, so on this slide, like you see there, what we are trying to say is, what is the format of this exam? IPMAT generally, and each exam might have slightly different format, but the broad skills they're testing for is they're testing you for quantitative ability, very important. They're testing you for verbal ability. And some exams have logical reasoning, right? And IIM Indore exam has 45 questions from quant, 45 questions from verbal. Verbal is all MCQs, but quant, the 30 questions MCQs, 15 questions, numerical entries, short answer questions, fill in the blanks kind of stuff. And that they're a little tough questions, right? IIM Rohtak has quantitative 40, logical 40, verbal 40. 120 questions. In all, you see 90 questions in IIM Indore, 120 questions in Rohtak. Overall, you can see these are both exams are around 2 hours for 100 questions approximately, right? 90 in one, 120 in the other. That means it is an exam. These are exams where you are targeting to attempt one question every minute. Keep that in mind. That's something that you should know. And the cutoff scores, for IIM Indore, which is an exam which has 90 questions and 360 marks in total. I think if you can crack 200 plus, you get a call. Do understand, unlike your other exams, like JEE, like NEET, like other exams, it is not enough for you to do the exam and get a rank. What you have to understand is called for an interview, and you will have to get selected after the interview. And that's the beauty of these. So IPMAT exam, out of the 360 marks, if you can score around 200 plus, you get a chance to get into interviews. You score a little higher, it's better for you, because if you score higher, the chance of, because there's a weightage for the score in the final selection also, right? Similarly, IIM Rohtak also for 480. It has been an exam. IIM Rohtak is a little newer exam as compared to Indore. Indore exam has existed for 10 seasons now, 10 years now. Rohtak is 4-5 years old. So what happens is the level of difficulty goes up and low. And on an easy exam, the cutoff for 480 had also been 380, but generally the cutoff is around 300 in the 480. So this is how the exams look. This is how the exams look like. And the interesting thing, while on the slide there, I put a picture of OMR. I do understand it is not a paper-based exam. It is an online exam. So that means it's only an exam that you can take in a computer format. And other thing you need to know is that it's generally 4 multiple choice only. The picture might talk about 5 things, but it's only 4 multiple choice. So with this understanding, now that we understood what is IIM program at undergraduate level, what is IPMAT as an exam, format of the exam, cutoff of the exam, would you want to know? Would you be interested in trying to know how to crack this exam in 45 days? Because if I'm talking to you now, most of you would not have gone into details of what this exam is. You have not, this session is very much for those people who have not really had their feet entrenched into IPMAT preparation. There are students who have prepared for IPMAT for 1 year, 2 years, etc. There are a lot of students, out of these 30,000-40,000 people who are currently targeting IPMAT, I think a couple of thousand students at the max are actually seriously preparing for IPMAT for 1 year, 2 years. But most of them decide on IPMAT in the last minute, in the last few months, and get going. I think that's why you stand a great chance. So it's not about the quantity, it's about the quality of preparation. I've seen students who have cracked IPMAT exam within 45 days straight. That's why this webinar. I have kind of, having trained thousands of students, tens of thousands of students across tens of different competitive exams over last 15 years, I've kind of, filtered the best essence of it and I'm bringing it here. I have seen in the last few years, there are students who have cracked IPMAT exam and got into IIM Indore, IIM Rohtak, these kind of top IIMs in 45 days also. They did not really need 2 years, 1 year. But yes, having said that, these are not people who were actually not having the basics for them. As in, if you have good reading speed, you have good mathematical understanding, reasoning ability from your high school, that's enough. If that is there, 45 days is good. We can have a strategy, we can plan. This webinar is useful, it can help. For someone who is weak in mathematics, for someone who is not so good at reading English, etc., 45 days might definitely not be enough. They might have to look at a very longer term, much longer term program. But someone who has good fundamentals with respect to quantitative ability, good fundamentals with respect to reading comprehensions, and speed reading, etc. I think you guys are in the right shape to kind of target attempting IPMAT in 45 days. Let's crack IPMAT open in 45 days. You guys can do that. I'm with you. Now that we have understood this, let's move on and say, how can we actually do it? Many people, a lot of times feel that time is short, right? But do understand, it is not too short. With smart planning, 45 days is enough to crack IPMAT, like I said. In fact, like in the movies that we say, जिंदगी बड़ी होनी चाहिए लंबी नहीं. So like I said, in that context, it is not about preparing for IPMAT for a long time, but it's about preparing in the biggest possible manner. So let's make this 45 days very, very effective. Let's look at now this webinar. I brought this webinar for you from Abhyas IIM Prep, very specifically with the goal, with the need of helping those people who have prepared for competitive exams but missed out because of very high competition. These are above average kids. These are people really doing good, but they could not crack it just because the competition is extremely high. So I think this is an option for you if you have the good basis. Let's kind of understand how to do that. Now that we've told what to do, let's speak about how. Now let's enter the second part of our webinar. Now I'm going to give you, see, please understand, I've made a game plan for you. I've made a detailed game plan for you. I'm going to give you an overview, and after this webinar, you can reach out. We'll share everything. You can get a lot more. We have a lot of free tools available for you. Those who want a lot more day level plan, etc. In this webinar, I'm going to give you a 45-day game plan overview and kind of some basic essentials. And you want details, you can always reach out to us, right? You have to divide your 45 days into 3 phases. Understand this. The first phase is, I call it foundation phase. First 2 weeks has to be foundation. The second phase, 2 weeks, will be practice and strengthen. And the third phase is a very, very, very important phase. I call it mock test mode phase. Right? Let me kind of deep dive into each of them a little more. Right? In phase 1, what do you actually do? I'm going to give you, don't worry, I'm going to give you a day-wise plan, day-wise calendar also. So it will help you with respect to, yeah, I mean, we can actually give a printable format for you so that you can print it out and keep it in your table and you can use it for preparation. All that we're going to give you. But let's first focus on the webinar, right? Phase 1, like I said, foundation phase. The idea is to kind of say, hey, you have to understand what are the key concepts that are tested in IPMAT. Hey, you guys know, you might have prepared for IIT, you might have prepared for NEET, or you might have prepared for some other exams like CLAT, whatever exams you have prepared for. The goal is to say, hey, what kind of areas are tested in IPMAT? While quantitative ability is universal, but the areas, the weightage, the priority is different from one exam to the other exam. You have to understand that, right? So once you understand what that is, I think it becomes easy. So phase 1 is all about that. In quantitative ability for IPMAT, I think the focus definitely has to be in arithmetic and algebra, a lot more than other areas. And this is an area where you have to do a lot of reading, editorial readings, short reading comprehension is very, very important. 3 to 4 hours a day has to be spent on these areas. Building foundations are very, very important. Let's look at phase 2. I'm going to give into plan, detailed day-wise, week-wise plan. Don't worry. First, I'm kind of covering what will you do in each of these phases. Phase 2, like I said, the strengthening phase, practice phase, I call it. Here, the idea is you have to start doing your sectional tests. No, you can't. Maybe in phase 1, you're focusing more on topic-wise, arithmetic, algebra, right, grammar, vocabulary, etc. But in phase 2, you have to talk about, hey, let me do a complete quantitative section test. Let me do a complete verbal ability section test. Let me do a complete logical reasoning test. That's very important. And you have to start fixing weak areas. You should be able to identify where you're good at, where you're not good at. You should be able to identify where you might need a little more help, etc. Where you need help, you might seek out. And for many of you who want to kind of do this in this format, I think it makes sense for you to kind of join crash courses with reputed brands. We are one of those. You can come to us. But if you want to prepare by yourself also, we are trying to help you with that. Here again, a 4 to 5 days on average will be good. Again, I'm telling you, for someone who is only doing 45 days preparation, I will tell you, I'll be very honest, you can do 8 to 10 hours per day. You cannot target 4 to 5 hours. 4 to 5 hours is the basic plan I'm giving you, but I think you should develop the plan saying, hey, I'll spend 8 to 10 hours per day in IPMAT for the next 45 days, then only you can crack it. Don't just stick to crack it in 4 to 5 hours. 4 to 5 hours is a plan we're giving, but in terms of doing it, practicing it, doubling it up is very, very important. Let me now talk about the phase 3, my favorite phase, not just as a teacher, but even when I was a student. I think हीरे तराशने में जो time लगता है, I call it diamonds are made, only when they're cut. When a diamond is chiseled, the more cuts you have, the diamond has a lot more value, isn't it? So I felt as a student also, people ask me, I mean, how toppers do it. And in fact, I have some interesting ideas there to present. I'll talk about that in the later part of the webinar. I think phase 3 is what differentiates a topper from just an average, above average kid. Because phase 3 is where we get into a serious mode called mock test mode, simulation mode. You have to get there. So you have to take full length mocks, analyze them properly. You have to fine tune for speed and accuracy. Because a lot of times, please understand, a lot of you focus only on speed, quantity of questions that you attempt, but you lose out on accuracy. Do understand the balance is very important. Like I said, crossing the cutoff. The biggest goal is not to kind of attempt all the questions. The biggest goal is to attempt enough number of questions with high accuracy so that I crack the cutoffs. That's very, very important. We need to understand that, right? Let me, now that we have understood three phases, I think I want to give you section wise some strategies and ideas also. Let's look at this. So in quant, like I said, prioritize arithmetic and number theory, because arithmetic number theory ranks as a number one area from where questions come. Then there's algebra, then other areas. Verbal, you have to practice reading comprehensions a lot, para jumbles a lot. LR, the focus has to be a lot on puzzles and arrangements, particularly for, this is for Rohtak we're talking about. And please understand, IPMAT at the end of the day is a baby brother of CAT. So what they do is CAT type of questions they pick up. So we need to be ready for that, right? How to kind of master mock test, like I said, the phase 3, right? That's very, very important for you to understand. How do we really master mock test? That's extremely important. Learning for you, I mean, what I felt, is that when you take mock tests, people have the habit of, particularly when parents are chasing you or teachers are chasing you, etc. That's not going to work. You have to do it by yourself. And the most important thing I kind of say at our institutions is mock tests have to be taken at the same time. If you're taking a mock test at a particular time, ensure that you take that. And the better thing to do is do it at the same time that the actual exam is held, right? That way your biological clock is set. And doing it gives your mind a discipline, a kind of understanding that's very, very, very useful. Actual length out of the exam, simulate the conditions. And after the exam, a lot of people, in fact, how to take mocks for any competitive exam is a huge strategy. I have a huge session on that. You can, I'm not sure if it's a free resource or a paid resource, but we have the resource in our system. I have a 3-step approach. I call it 3-step approach to handling mocks. There's a lot more details out there, but I'll tell you one important thing I can tell you is, remember, mock taking is not, it's not just like a movie. You go to a movie, watch it for 2 hours, 2.5 hours and come out. Watching the movie, any average moviegoer will do. But someone who is interested in a movie will do much beyond that. Think of what is that. Similarly, when you go do the mock test, you do the mock test and you look at the score and done, that is not okay. That's an average student. If you want to be a topper, if you want to really crack it, I think you need to have 3 steps. Second step, third step for that. You'll probably come across that later. But the idea is to understand, deep dive into that, analyze that better. How to do that is different, but I'm saying analyze it more, analyze your errors after every mock, find them, try to kind of, identify which areas you're scoring, which areas you're not able to score, which areas you're struggling. Then probably I think you should decrease attempts in those areas which you're struggling. You have to probably increase attempts, or you have to attempt those questions, those areas that you are comfortable much faster. That's the goal for you, right? Now, what toppers did differently? This is something that I have seen across these 15 years of my teaching experience. Having trained tens of thousands of students, I have actually seen a topper. How do we know someone is a topper, right? Who is called a topper? Let's ask ourselves. The term topper means what? Is the topper the best student in the batch? Is the topper most brilliant student in the batch? Is the topper most hardworking student in the batch? Who is the topper? A topper is defined. It's like asking which is a blockbuster movie, right? Or who is a gold medalist, right, in Olympics. I think it's simple. The definition is clear. A blockbuster movie is a movie. After it's released, we will know it has got profits, right? A gold medalist in any sports athlete is after he has got a medal. He or she got a medal, right? That's exactly the same thing. Topper is a topper. After the exam, someone who's cracked it, someone who's got a top rank, etc. So what I have seen is these toppers who finally made the result, they are made with they're of a different breed. They've done it differently. There can be very hardworking students. There can be brilliant students who are smart, who are talented, who kind of understand things fast, who can do it. But I have never seen students who only focus on intelligence, or students who are extremely hardworking alone, are not them. Toppers are those who mix both of them. These are people who do consistent work. The most important thing is it's not about working hard alone. It's not about working smart alone. I think everyone would have heard of the word hard work and smart work. But there's something called consistent work. I think, smart work trumps hard work is a kind of, is idiom for all of you at your age. We say, hey, smart work always trumps hard work. But what if I say there's something that can work trumps smart work also? And that is disciplined, consistent effort. Someone who puts effort consistently, even if it's not smart, if it's not the most talented, most planned, that will trump. That's why you see I have seen particularly in the last 5 years after pandemic, after 2020 pandemic, what I am seeing these days is you would see UPSC throws up unknown, unexpected rankers, all India rankers. You see CAT, you see all these JEE exams, unexpected toppers. These are not from the so-called big names, big this thing, because these are people who have gone through a very interesting. They might not be the smartest, they might not be most hardworking, but they have put in something called consistent work. So consistent work trumps you over hard work. Remember that on any day. Right? And these are people who have taken 10 to 15 mocks, those who cracked within 45 days also. They did not say, hey, I will do my phase one, I'll do my phase two, let me wait for phase three, let me wait for. No. These are people who had the thing that, hey, let me do even though I'm preparing only for 10, I mean, 1.5 month, only for 45 days, I want to do at least 10 to 15 mocks. That is the thing of a topper. And last and most important thing is these people, toppers have been, they optimized their accuracy over attempts. That means for them, it's not about attempting as many questions as someone who has prepared for 2 years will do. If someone who prepared IPMAT for a year, for 2 years, they can probably understand every kind of chapter. They will probably not focus on prioritize areas, prioritize questions. But someone who's preparing for 45 days, you ought to kind of prioritize high weightage areas or important areas, those you can do well. That is something that works for you, unlike those who are prepared for longer term. Now, what happens is once you know attempts, you need not attempt every question, right? All the 90 questions, you need not get 360 out of 360. If you can get 200 out of 360, I think you're there. I think that's what these guys have done. That is what they have planned. They've improved accuracy over attempt. That's very important. Now, let me present to you what are the mistakes that generally people have done. I just told you what toppers did, but let's also understand what eliminates a lot of you. It's like Squid Games in one way. We all know Squid Games, right? So the Korean show, Korean drama on Netflix. I don't know if you watched Squid Games 2 also has come. But Squid Games 1 is beautiful. Squid Games 1 is better than Squid Games 2. But I think a lot of times competitive exams are like Squid Games. Just like there's no life loss here, but do understand we kind of eliminate ourselves after every round. Many people think when you're preparing for exams like IPMAT, JEE, CLAT, you're all thinking, hey, everyone is in competition till the last day. No. JEE is written by 15 lakh people, NEET is written by 20 lakh people, CLAT is written by a lakh people, IPMAT is probably written by around 30,000 people. Please understand, all of them are not in contention for getting a seat, securing a rank, securing a seat till the last day. Many of them drop out after first month. Some more of them drop and after, and so on, so on, so on. So please understand, it's about you have to understand your preparation that goes through multiple stages. People drop out, and mistakes that people do and they drop out. I'm just giving here. First thing, ignoring mock analysis. People who kind of say, "Hey, I've given a mock, I've done mock," because doing mocks is not something that like is sometimes you are in a particular coaching institution, coaching brand like us, or your parents are serious, they're trying to push you. I am prep, Abhyas, I am prep is pushing you, we will make you do mocks. But the problem is once the mocks are done, you got high quality mocks from us, you do all that, but the problem is after the mocks are done, many of them who have done it for their parents, not for themselves, just do the mock and leave it. They don't go to the actual part called mock analysis. Mocks anyone will do, mock analysis very less people do. So those who ignore mock analysis are telling, I'm not getting IIM seat, I am not interested in IIM seat, I don't want to do it, fine, you decided. Second mistake they do is they over attempt. They kind of, these are people, in spite of you have to understand that you're preparing for 45 days, you don't have too much time. Maybe I'm not able to cover all the areas, maybe I'm not good at all the areas. These are people who are over attempting. They're trying to attempt more with low accuracy, that will not work. And finally, last thing, last minute cramming. 45 days, just because you have 45 days does not mean, like I said, I don't want you to kind of prepare for 16 hours a day. That's not going to work. At your age, 16 hours a day is not going to work. You have to 8 to 10, 8 to 12 hours is good. And the time that you give, the more time you give, it's good based on how much effort you can give, how much energy, how much your biological levels, it depends on you. But the more time you have, the time should not be used for cramming. The most important thing is many people think I have more time, so let me do more time theory, more time revision, more time. No, that's not going to work. Because these competitive exams, in any of the competitive exams, please understand, are not particularly exams like IPMAT, CLAT, CAT, right? These are not knowledge exams, these are skill exams, aptitude exams like GMAT, GRE, all these exams. So these are not exams where the amount of time you prepare, you cannot, it's not going to help. It's about the way you prepare. You have to prepare it the right way. Instead of cramming concepts, instead of cramming formulas, it is better for you to practice and get the aptitude better, improve your aptitude. That's very important. These are the mistakes that people do in preparing IPMAT, cracking IPMAT within 45 days. Right? I brought these mistakes for you. Now what I'm doing is now I'm going to, like that we said, hey, it's what we have done so far. We have done with the second part of my webinar. Let's before we enter the third part, let's kind of revise what we have done. Part one, we discussed IPMAT, its pattern, IPMAT, can it be done, etc., etc. Second, what we have done is if we have to crack IPMAT in 45 days, what things should we do? What mistakes to avoid? What kind of things we can do? What toppers do? What should be the phases? All that we have discussed. Now that I've done that, I'm entering the third part of the webinar, my dear friends. This is where I'm giving you. I'm going to unlock for you a 45-day plan, your own personalized 45-day study plan. It has a mix of practice, revision, mocks, everything. And you can customize it yourself, and you want help, you can always reach out, we can do that. But do understand this is a very, very important thing. And like I said, because this is a presentation, this is a webinar, I might not be able to give you a lot more detailed, longer plan. I'll give you a very beautiful plan on the screen, but once you join us, once you connect with us, we can give you more detailed this thing. Yeah, right. So this is a plan that I have for you on the screen now. You can take a screenshot of this. You can probably print it out, keep it, very, very important. Right now, this is extremely important because this is what makes the difference. Right, if you see there, what I've done is I've clearly done a week wise plan there. I have a tabular column there, beautifully made for quantitative ability, verbal ability, logical reasoning, and mocks, what kind of mocks you do at that time, what topics to prepare in each of those subjects, what are the mocks that you can do, and finally what is the focus of that week. I've given very clearly. For example, days 1 to 7 in quantitative ability, focus more on percentages and averages. Verbal ability, focus on RC, reading comprehension basics and vocabulary. LR, focus on basic puzzles. Right, mocks, you have to focus first week. It's okay, you don't take a full mock, take a sectional, and the focus is definitely foundational. Second week, the moment you enter second week in quant, the expectation is you have to do algebra and number systems, verbal grammar, and do RC. Second RC is you have to do enough RC, you have to go on. And puzzles, LR, blood relations, coding, decoding, etc. And the one full mock has to start here. You have to start doing full mock. Speed build up has to start. Third week, speed maths, geometry and maths, parajumbles, and fill in the blanks in verbal. Series, data, series, sequences, series, etc. in LR, and data interpretation. And two full mocks have to be done in the third week, guys. And there's a practice focused week. And the fourth week, as I call it, advanced quantitative ability, which probably you're probably talking about modern maths and sets theory and stuff like that. You have to do revisions also. And verbal, you can focus on RC sets again, RC. Error spotting, that's very important. Grammar error spotting is very important. And logical reasoning, you get to do mixed sets. So far you have done all different types. Now start having mixed sets. You can have a story problem, a passage oriented puzzles, etc. Very, very important. And mocks here again, two full mocks once again, and do a lot of sectionals also in this week. We call it an application focused week. Then we have the fifth week. This is where you start doing custom sets, that is pick up sets from the actual IPMAT exams, see what kind of questions have come, and start doing revisions. This is a revision week. We started doing that. Accuracy drills in verbal, that is verbal is all about error spotting and identifying errors. So take up questions where commonly made mistakes. You have a lot of commonly made mistakes like vocabulary commonly made mistake, grammatically commonly made mistakes. Try to find them and do your accuracy drills. LR is about quick practice. How can I increase the speed in solving a puzzle, all types of puzzles. And this week, your goal cannot be about 2 mocks. It has to be 3 mocks. Now the quantity has increased, 3 mocks, and you have to do timed sets outside mocks also. Overall, this is, like I said, is about tightening, revision, right? And then the like I call it pre-final, right? Like semi-final week, the 6th week. This is completely mock focused. You cannot have any more theory. Go and do mocks every alternate day. Alternate day, do a mock and do deep dive into each mock by quantitative aptitude, verbal aptitude, and LR. Very, very important. The simulation week, and the last week, the final week when you're actually having the exam. The goal is to have light practice. In maths, in quantitative, revision can only be done through practice. Don't do revision in terms of formula concepts. In verbal, it is about recapping your notes, whatever you have made. And then LR, you don't even need anything else. Take up easier puzzles, etc. And finally, do few mocks, revise and wind down week. And a lot of times, many people make a mistake of, let me tell you this, of assuming that people try to peak. You have to peak your performance in the final exam, but you cannot peak your hard work. I will not have a peaking of hard work in the last week. That's not going to work. Your peaking of hard work has to happen in the penultimate week, pre-final week, semi-final week, not in the final week. Please understand that. Your performance can be the best because mind works on, if you kind of tire your mind so much in the final week, it's not going to help, because in the final week, the final exam, it's not going to help. So the goal would be to train your mind to kind of agitate, make it push harder till the pre-final week, but make final week has to be a kind of wind down. Understand that. This is a beautiful plan that I've presented to you. Week-wise plan is there. We have a day-wise plan. We can go a lot more granular details, etc. All these are available to us, to our students. You can join us. We can help you with a lot of these details, my dear friends. At Abhyas IIM Prep, we have everything. My team has done a lot of great work for you. Yeah. Let's now go ahead. And by the way, in order to access a lot of our free resources, guidance, etc., you can join us on our WhatsApp group, and you can get a lot of these things, and you can know more about us. And we would love to, it's not about only those art students, but it's about anyone who has joined us. We were more than happy to kind of help you. So join this group, from some free advice, free PDF, strategies, etc. And more importantly, now we have done so much. I think let's do a little bit about what do we do at Abhyas. Abhyas IIM Prep is basically a unit of Abhyas Edu Technologies. This team, Abhyas IIM Prep team, focuses very clearly on helping students get into IIMs. We help students get into IIMs, and we help students who get into IIMs either after 12th through IPMAT or after graduation through CAT. So that's what we do. And we are a Hyderabad-based brand, and we do a lot of offline. We have centers in Hyderabad where we help people do physical classes, offline classes in Hyderabad branches. We do provide students online classes, online live synchronized learning. We don't you can join batches. The batch is starting, you can join a batch. There's a set of instructors that help you with that. And there are people, you can also join courses where you can have some recorded content if you want, if you don't want to join a live classes. We have mock tests alone that you can take up from us. You can take study material, all that. And the beautiful thing is, all those of you who are with me for the last 45 minutes or so, what I'm going to do is I'm giving you a discount code. Whoever has watched this webinar, you have attended this webinar, there's a beautiful discount code for you. You can use the discount code that's mentioned there. You can take a screenshot again. You can get special discounts up to 20% based on the course. Some courses they offer up to 20%, some courses lesser, etc. based on that. But you can get discounts up to 20% for various IPMAT 2025 crash courses and materials, etc., mocks, etc. I think for the last 45 minutes, I was focused on giving the presentation. So I'll try to go through your comments and questions. Okay, so a lot of, about the profile explanation. Thank you, useful. Thank you, thanks a lot. Tarak says useful. Mohan says great explanation. Thanks a lot. Manoj says great session. Kirtana, great session. Thank you. Pramod, insightful. Thank you. Tarak, again, well said. Lisha says wow. Thank you. So how much is a mock test? Jansi Lakshmi is asking how much is a mock test. I think what I would suggest is, Jansi, that's a good question. I think we have various mock tests also. We have various packages. So what I suggest is, please hop onto the website that is there on every slide, IIMPrep, www.iimprep.in. Please hop on there. I think we have various mock packages that can actually help people. For example, for someone who is wanting to do 10 to 15 mocks, or someone who wants to do all the mocks, we have 45 mocks we give overall also. But someone who wants to mini package, only 10 to 15 mocks, you can have a different price. All those are available for you. It'll cost you a few thousands. You should know that. And Akshita, thank you. It's clear doubts for you. Tarak, again, programs. IPM programs. There's a question here. Tarak is asking, IPM programs have exit option. Should we exit after 3 years and try CAT or continuous 5 years? That's an interesting question, Tarak. Thank you for the question, Tarak. I think please understand, the exit option is there, and whenever there's an exit option, there are people who are taking it. Now, is it worth taking it? I would believe so, depending on your situation. For example, if you are in IIM Rohtak and you believe in terms of your capability, in terms of, your ability, you're very sure. I think if I write CAT, I can crack an IIM at a better rank than Rohtak. I can get into top 5, top 10 IIMs. I think it makes absolute sense. But that's the risk you have to decide, because IIMs also, IIM Rohtak also, what I've heard, because I'm in touch with IIM professors, and there are our own ex-Abhyas colleagues at IIMs in very senior leadership positions also. What we have seen is they've said that they are not happy, right? When you have studied with them for 3 years, you have to make a decision. Sometimes some of them have rules where you have to make a decision to discontinue even before you attempt CAT also. So that is where you need to be a little cautious. But I believe if you are capable and if you have a plan, there's nothing wrong in you. If your target is to upgrade, there are students who actually do upgrade themselves to ISBs and programs like that. There might be any different ideas. That's a good idea, no doubt about that. But having said that, you have to do the evaluation. The answer cannot be yes for everyone. The answer cannot be no for everyone. It has to be evaluated. But is that a good option? Absolutely. That's the answer, Tarak. I hope I've answered your questions. Yeah. So Akshita is asking me, IIM fee seems to be expensive. Yeah, that's very interesting. IIMs are definitely pretty expensive, and education in India last 10 years or so, it has become pretty expensive with a lot of reasons. I believe with the word skills over degree coming up, a lot of people whose affordability is not there, they kind of get to do a lot of these inexpensive programs, so they can do that. But the important thing is, do understand when it comes to Ivy League programs, right? In India, Ivy League 22 carat, 24 carat gold level programs are basically IIMs, IITs, etc. For these programs, what happens is it is worth if you can make the best out of it. And what happens is, a beautiful thing also is, if you can get into these institutions, you have a lot of study loans available for you, student loans available for you right away. You need not worry about that. So definitely, if you can get into these programs, try to kind of take those things, make the best out of it, try to get a good campus placements, and that would be worth it, right? Yeah, Durga Prasad is asking, can you suggest best resource or books to stick to the 45 days into? Yeah, so Durga Prasad, that's a nice question. I would rather say Abhyas IIM Prep is a place to come for. And what material? Because at Abhyas IIM Prep, we are not a typical coaching brand that tries to kind of put you through a lot of rigmarole, lot of, we believe in giving you time appropriate preparation, because if you're talking about 45 days, the material given to you is useful for that. So a lot of that. And in case you're looking for general books outside us, you can always join the WhatsApp group that we have given you. Please reach out to us, we'll kind of give you ideas. But Abhyas IIM Prep is the right place to come for crash course. Yeah, we'll give you books and stuff. Yeah, can you please suggest the textbooks? Tarak also has asked the same question. I think, see, there are a lot of aptitude books out there in the market, but what I believe is it is very important for you to understand. It's not about the book per se, but because exams keep changing. Do understand, Tarak. The big problem why these aptitude books that are available outside might not be a great option sometimes, because they might give you general ideas. But what about exams are changing? Exams are changing their nature. After online exams have come, after AI has come, exams can change just like that. Exam setters can just like that. So that is where you need a coach. You need someone to hold your hand and tell you, prepare this, don't prepare this, etc. That cannot come through a book. That's why the strategy of using a book has become a little, I would say, old. It's changed, things have changed. So I think better to kind of, a lot of online ebooks, etc. You can always reach out to us, we can do that. Yeah, which topics I prioritize in quant and verbal? That's Lisha. I think that's a very useful question. I think I did cover that a little. I did cover that in a small way in the webinar, in the early part of the webinar. I think for quant, the focus definitely has to be arithmetic and algebra. For verbal, it has to be areas like parajumbles, reading comprehension. These are two areas that I would say very, very important for verbal and quant, respectively. Right. Yeah. Tarak is asking self prep versus crash course. Yeah, I think self preparation is definitely useful for those people who are very confident of their own planning, and also if they do not have a lot of financial resources, etc. I can understand them trying to do their own this thing, but wherever you have if you have financial viability, Always go for some kind of crash courses. I'll tell you why. Please understand, champions, whichever sports you take, whichever Olympics, tennis, any champion, why do they have so much coaching staff? Why can't they do it? Because success is not a single man job, single woman job, man. Success is about people. There's an ecosystem that is built around you to make it. See, we have in your personal life also, you have family, everything is about that. So it's not about a book or something, but it's about a teamwork. So that is why people actually choose a kind of, that's why people love human beings. At the end of the day, are social animals. We have AI coming. With AI coming, there's a lot more materials out there in the world. But why would coaching or brands exist? Again, I'm telling you, any coaching brand, any coaching, the old brands will kind of collapse in the next few years. Let me tell you, who only focus on teaching, and the best teacher come to me, no one will come to you. You have to create. We at Abhyas IMPRE believe it's not about just teaching you, because in this modern era, teaching concepts is not the thing that you can get it. You have a lot of access out there, but the goal is, can we create a program where we have a kind of collaborative thing among the students, and we have team that can support you. Can we mentor? So our entire Abhyas, entire goals. That's why we never say the concept that we also have. If you kind of look at this, something that I'm telling you, Abhyas, when we have designed logo 2010, 15 years back. When we put the logo, what should the tagline be? People have come to me as a founder. I said, they were thinking, what should we say? We want to, the idea was learn from the best. We want to kind of use the word learn from the best. I said it should be learn from the best, it should be learn with the best. Because learn from the best means you're learning from me. No student learns. If it is learning from a teacher, why do all the students who learn from the same teacher become very successful? Learn with the best. What we say is, you learn with the best. The teachers are the best, you are best. Let's try to together do it. That's what I mean. So that's what the modern world is. So I hope I've answered your question, Tarak. Yeah. What is the best way to manage negative marking in the exam? Yes. Lisha, I think for particularly for those who are crash course students, this becomes paramount to, like I said, it is about limiting the attempts. If you want to reduce your negative marking, limiting the attempts to the areas that you are good at, and avoiding the areas that you're not good at is the main strategy. That's what a crash course student needs to do, that more than someone who has prepared for 2 years. Because someone who's prepared for 2 years, they have the luxury. If they're good, if they're smart, and if they've been consistent people, they would have got a good grip on all the areas. Actually, that's what it would be. Right. Nice. What are the advanced level quant topics should I focus on in the final month? So I think please understand. Like I said, sometimes algebra and some of the statistics kind of questions, etc., come. I would actually try to suggest the 45-day window period. Those who have, the goal is not to kind of talk about advanced or lower, but focus on how can you get that 200 plus. That's what your goal is, right? Please keep that in mind. And if you really want, we can always give you higher algebra, more difficult algebra, more, right, statistics, etc. Yeah. Next. I hope I've answered your question, Babu. And Sangita, how to prioritize questions in QA and VA for max impact and limited time? Yeah, it's about when you're doing sectionals. Sectionals are exactly for this, Sangita. When you do when you do a mock test, it's not so easy for you to plan all this. But the better thing to do is, when you go into sectionals, you can, within a section, you can think of which areas can you prioritize, etc. Once you do that in sectionals, bring that strategy to mocks. That will help you. Okay. Lokesh is asking a question. What is the most effective way to analyze mock test performance to ensure steady improvement? Lokesh, I think I actually consider myself in my organization. I think people, more than particular subject, I call myself a mock expert, right? Analysis expert. With that background, let me tell you this. A lot of people give importance to mock taking. I don't give importance to mock taking. I give importance to mock analysis. How to analyze? I said I have a complete program out there. I have I do 1 hour, 2 hour program, purely 2 hour session only on how to take mock. But having said that, I will give you a brief gist of it. Please understand. It's about 3 steps. You have multiple takes. You cannot take a mock one time and leave it. You have to do it multiple times. That is the kick of it. That is, one mock you did once, you have to do a second attempt, third attempt, 3 attempts. I call it 3 attempts mock. How to do 3 attempts? What it means is something that you have to. For that, you have to join us. You have to learn us more. Yeah, right. Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, Chandan, yeah. What changes or trends have you noticed in recent IPMAT that candidates should adapt to? Yeah, I think Chandan, to your question, like I said, what we have found over the years is question setters can keep working with changing the question types. You'll have 1 year you have one variant extra, because even today, even when I was doing this, I in fact, when you join the WhatsApp group, you'll have access to that. We have what areas are high priority, high weightage, or repeated models, etc. But I think with AI available to them also, not just to us, please understand. Many students make assume when they use AI, across the world, students use AI to do their assignments, homeworks. Please understand, teachers also use AI to catch AI. So what happens is, I have seen recently, this year particularly, I've seen competitive exams. I can very clearly see that when I saw the paper, I can say this question is made by AI, this set is made by AI. I feel bad, I feel unhappy. Because student preparing with AI is okay, but if a final exam, one exam they have to say they're using AI, I think the quality goes bad. That is some change I'm seeing. I'm not talking about IPMAT in general. That's happening. What does it mean? Because there's a trend that Chandan asked. I'm trying to explain. So what does it mean for us? Is we should be ready for everything. You cannot have a predisposed I'll only do this. But the idea is to kind of keep your eyes and ears open to learn more. That's what I would say. Be ready for surprises, if I have to use that word. What kind of trends? Trends wise, I would say quantitative. Still, they're focusing a lot more on algebra and arithmetic. Verbal, they've definitely focused on para. It's all about para, reading comprehension para, or para jumbles, para summaries, etc. I would say that has not really changed. I'll also tell you why. Because IPMAT as an exam is trying to figure out who among you are going to be managers tomorrow, who among you can manage businesses, strategize, make decisions. For that, you should be able to read quickly, make decisions quickly, analyze quickly. That skills can only be tested through para-oriented reading comprehension, summaries, and parajumble. Similarly, in maths, it has to be about these things. So that precursor will not change. What will only change is within that they can keep surprising. So let's be ready with that. Okay, right. I hope I've answered this. So thanks a lot. I enjoyed doing this session for you. I think 45 days, 45 minutes webinar for 45 days, and then 15 minutes I tried answering the questions. All the very best for IPMAT 2025. Let's crack it together.